It is a fight, right? But how does that change things for you as you went down the last few weeks?
It's all right, man. Every fight that I have is the fight that I want. You know, at some point you have to realize that you're not in control of who steps in the cage with you. You're not in control. The promoters can do what they want. The fighters can do, you know, what they want as far as being your opponent. You just got to be ready to step in the cage, bite down your mouthpiece, and fight. That's what I've always done. Been in the sport now for 9 years. I have a whole lot more to fight for now than I have in the past. So I mean, it doesn't matter who it is, when it is, where it is. I love that it's here in St. Louis. I love that we're standing in Thoroughbred Wrestling Academy right now, one of my academies here in Missouri, and it's awesome. So I'm taking it in stride and enjoying whoever they step in front of me. When
they called you and said that Brent was out, how much of it was for you? Just get me anybody and keep me on the card. I don't care who it is, but I have to fight in St. Louis.
Yeah, that's how it's been. I mean, and not even just because it was in St. Louis. I love the St. Louis crowd. I love that I'm fighting here, but it's happened to me numerous times in the past where Bellator doesn't have the depth of the roster to say, okay, hey, we have 2 or 3 other guys that can step in. You know, guys already have fights, or they're out of shape, or they don't say yes. You know, so it's happened to me in the past, and my fights get pushed back. My fight just a year or so ago with Josh Thompson got pushed back, and they couldn't find a late replacement, and they got pushed back a whole 7 weeks. So I was away from my family for 3 months when I should have only been away from them for 6 weeks. You know, so.
Obviously, it's not a title fight, but it's still huge for you because a loss completely derails you, right? Can you talk a little bit about that part of the process in terms of preparation?
I mean, it doesn't really matter. I don't care how prepared I am. I don't care how prepared he is. I don't care how prepared anybody is in this sport. We need to realize this is not a team sport. This is not NASCAR. This is not, you know, this is not a traditional type of sport. It doesn't matter if I'm better than him on paper. It doesn't matter if I'm highly ranked, more highly ranked than he is. It doesn't matter if I'm supposed to beat him 10,001. You're tied onto a tornado in there, and it's a roller coaster in and out of there. I mean, I'm fighting a guy who's dangerous. You know, I'm supposed to beat him. I can beat him. I'm better than him in every single aspect of the game. But I'd be you know, kidding myself if I didn't realize that you got to take every single fight seriously and realize that there's a ton of risk no matter who you're fighting. So you just got to embrace that, hope for the best, and prepare for the worst.
Well, that roller coaster tornado kind of thing is something you probably learned against Brent, right? That there are things that are going to be beyond your control that change the course of how a fight's going to go.
Always, exactly, man. I mean, you know, and the funny thing was, is I still, even after I had the injury, I might have been the only one convinced in that whole Madison Square Garden, the whole arena, that I was still going to beat him on 1 foot. It might have been just me, but I was 100% sure I was going to beat him. And you know, it's a little bit, you know, interesting that he didn't even land a punch on me after I hurt my ankle. You know, he was throwing some kicks, he was trying to stay away, and then I dropped him on one leg. So it's one of those things. You just got to be ready for everything, hope for the best, and see what happens.
Talk a little bit about what Brandon Girtz brings to the table. Obviously, we know he's coming in on short notice. He doesn't have the resume that you have, but he's been around the game for a long time as well.
Yeah, no, he has, and he's a tough guy. He's probably one of the toughest guys in the lightweight division. I mean, am I better than him skill-wise? Am I better than him on paper? Am I supposed to, you know, win? You know, of course, but I know a good competitor when I see one. I know a tough man when I see one. I've watched all of his fights. I've seen all of his fights even before I knew I was going to fight him. I knew I was going to fight him eventually. I didn't know it was going to be under these circumstances, but he's a scary, dangerous guy. I mean, he throws heavy leather. We're in a fight where we're wearing 4-ounce gloves. You know, anybody can get knocked out with 4-ounce gloves. So I've left no stone unturned in my preparation. I'm 100% prepared whether I was going to fight for the title or not for the title. 5 rounds, 3 rounds, 10 rounds, it doesn't matter. I'm excited to step into the cage against the game or the opponent. I mean, if you look at, you know, my last year, in June it will be a year since the Madison Square Garden injury. So I had the injury against Primus, wanted to fight him in, you know, August, September, October, November, December, asked to fight. The fight wouldn't materialize because he was on maternity leave. Just so happens I just had a son as well at the same exact time, but I ponied up and was ready to fight like a man to provide for his family, to feed the mouths at the table. And then fast forward to January, I took a fight against one of the hottest rising prospects in the Bellator lightweight division with 18 submissions. Nobody wanted to take that fight. I took the fight, went out and smashed him. Now here I am again with another fight with not much to gain and a whole lot to lose, but man, I'm in the sport for legacy. I'm in the sport to inspire people. If people can see what's going on here, and I'm stepping in on short notice to fight a guy who wants to take my head off, it's going to help other people in their lives. So, man, just throw caution to the wind, go out there and compete.